Welcome back to In the Oven with Adam and Brad.
What's up, y'all?
Today I went like over the mic.
Yeah, you did.
Under the mic.
Yeah, you did. Mix it up.
Yeah. How are you?
Good, man.
How was your birthday?
It was fun. We did it pretty low key. We went bowled at the new that 810 bowling place they opened. It's in Lake Town.
Oh, okay.
It's huge. It's
Okay.
like you wouldn't think they would have that much room to put something in there, but it's got all kinds of stuff. It's got axe throwing and darts and stuff like that. But we just
fun.
bowled. Yeah, we just bowled with the kids. It was a ton of fun. My wife is a sniper, dude. Every time we go,
At bowling?
man, yeah.
Like she could hustle people?
She's good, man. Whenever she like really tries, it's hard to explain. When she like tries to set up and takes the time, a lot of times she'll miss, but then she'll just like walk up and get like, I don't know, 4 or 5 strikes a game.
Really?
Yeah, just like nothing. So anyways, got beat by my wife at bowling. That was still a ton of fun. And then we went to the new.
What's she bowl?
I don't know, man. Like high, 100 and something.
Like upper hundreds?
I mean, it just depends. Yeah,
Did she ever hit 200?
No.
Okay.
And it's not like she's bowled a lot
Yeah.
or we've bowled a lot, but every time we go, I kind of on the way, the kid's like, who do you think's going to win? I'm like, your mother.
Do you know any like really good bowlers?
No, a friend of mine bowled a lot, but that was like a long time ago.
Yeah. So I didn't know this, but like a guy that, essentially I knew his wife from school, but they lived in Houston. Like, come to find out, like a 300 bowler has his own bowling ball, like
nice,
pretty much strikes every time.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, like and he plays in like a bowling league and stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
that's pretty cool.
so yeah, I'm excited when I break 100.
Yeah, as long as I don't know, I'll do okay. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna throw gutter balls, but sometimes, man, you just like throw one straight into the gutter.
I throw it too hard.
Dang, I do too. And
Yeah.
then you're like, oh gosh.
Yeah, I muscle it.
Yeah. And so then after that, we went to the Korean barbecue place that opened where Craft 850 was.
Okay, thoughts?
It was okay.
Okay.
It was okay. It's worth going.
You know, because I've heard here it's not good.
Yeah. So Josh said he didn't have the best experience, and he's a foodie, so I normally take him up on it. The sides were just okay, which I liked a lot. They pretty much bring you the same kind of meat. But
right.
Normally, if you're gonna go, you're right at that mark where I just want to pay $20 more and get all I can eat.
Yeah.
And ours doesn't have that. So you're still paying like $100 and something, whereas like, sorry, I'm doing the thing where I talk too low. Still be paying like $100 something. I'd rather pay like $140 and just get all I can eat.
Right.
For me and my family.
What was your bill then for all 5 of you?
And
remember, there's only 2 adults and like 3 kids.
$120.
Right. So they're equivalent to like, I would say like three adults eating.
Yeah. Well, we drank waters and.
But I'm saying that Liam, Emerson, and Isla combined are an adult.
An adult. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So.
And because I think Liam eats a pretty good amount, but Isla eats like nothing, and
Right.
Emerson's kind of like
In the middle. Yeah.
So
yeah, that was good. And then Sunday we just kind of kicked it by the pool. Very relaxed.
what pool did you go to?
The little pool over in Sweet Bay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
we met Kylie and them over there.
Yeah, you should have. I was at the big pool.
On Sunday?
Yeah.
What time did you come back?
We landed at like 1 something. So I was at the pool. I took Lady to the pool from 3:15 to 4:15.
I thought about hitting you up, but I was like, he's gonna rush home, and
we rushed home, and Letty had skipped her nap, right? And so then she was tired, but wanted to watch TV. And I knew if I let her watch TV, she was either gonna fall asleep or it was gonna get they get irritable
Cranky.
because they've got to get their body re-energized again.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's go to the pool and
wear you all the way out. Yeah, perfect.
Just drain that battery. But got back from Nashville. Obviously, I guess we'll rewind. Thursday, flew out to Nashville for the half marathon. The flight there, funny. Garrison called me and said they were already on the way to the airport, and I was like, "Gosh, you guys are gonna be really early at the airport." He's like, "Oh, maybe we'll stop and do something to kill some time." And I said, "Okay," because they were out doing stuff. Were you dropping your dog off or something? Yeah, they're dropping their dog off in Youngstown, so they're out and about. Right. So we get to the airport, and I'm like, call Garrison, hey, I dropped Aubrey off. I'm gonna go park the car, help her out if you're at the airport. And he's like, oh no, we're still driving. I was like, oh well, we're cutting it kind of close. How close are you? And wasn't that close in my opinion.
Sure.
So I literally parked the car, got through security, was at the gate, and I'm looking for them to come. And then I see them get into the security line.
Nice.
And I was like, oh man. And so they came up. I mean, they had we were in the family boarding line for them, you know, and everything, but they came up and we were starting to board. So and Carly was like, she thought that the boarding time was the takeoff time.
Oh.
So I was like, no, we're taking off, not boarding at 4:40 or whatever. So, but yeah, I got to the hotel, and you know, we were checking in, and I was like, hey, we had asked if we could have adjoining rooms, and the guy was like, well, we don't have any like queen bed adjoining rooms, but let me see what we have. And he like click, and he's like, well, I can upgrade one of your rooms to a suite, and then the adjoining room would be the 2 queen beds. And I was like, well, how much more is that going to be? And he's like, I'm about to get off my shift, and you seem like a cool person, and booked with points. And he said, it looks like y'all got some birthdays in your parties. And I was like, actually, like 3 of us have birthdays this month. You know?
Cool.
And he's like, so I'll just upgrade you. So he upgraded us to this like king suite, which was nice because it gave us like a living room to like all meet and mingle in. Right. But it meant that
that's always awkward when you're traveling with another family or with hotel rooms, because it's hard to have like a common space, so that works out nice.
Yeah, so we had this like little common space.
Hold on, let me put all my underwear and stuff away before everybody's sitting in my room.
Exactly.
Or whatever,
yeah.
You know?
So that was really nice because there was like a living room that everyone could kind of like hang out in and stuff, and it wasn't on like you weren't sitting on someone's bed. Yeah. You know. Right. But so that was really great. And then we ate dinner. Like we grabbed a dinner at the airport, like Chick-fil-A at the airport, and just had the kids eat. So then we just went to bed that night, and then the next morning, we got up, met Aubrey's cousin for breakfast.
Oh, cool.
And so we were just chatting with him, and he kept saying like Gronk, and I was like, "Do you mean Rob Gronkowski? You know? Do you know who Rob Gronkowski is? Okay, I know you don't watch sports, so you know." But he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Are you like saying that you're friends with Rob Gronkowski?" And he's like, yeah.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, whoa, I had no idea. And he's like, yeah, we met. And like Rob Gronkowski took him to WrestleMania.
Oh, cool.
And like, they're like friends.
He needs some cookies.
Yeah, that's what I said too. You know, I was like, well, you know when you want to get cookies.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had breakfast or brunch at this place called Milk and Honey, and it was really good.
Nice
spot. Yeah, and then that day, it kind of rained a lot that day. So we really just kind of like hung around, got the race packets, you know, did all that stuff, went to the shakeout run earlier that morning. Then the next day was the half marathon.
How did it start?
Well, it started.
It was a morning. It was a morning race, right? What time did you start?
So the race was at 7:20 a.m.
Okay.
So I got up at about 5:30 in the morning and like did my Bible study, started eating carbs and, you know, drinking electrolytes, stuff like that. And then about 7 o'clock, Garrison and I walked down to the corrals and stuff. And luckily, the hotel we picked, literally the starting line was like, you could see it from our hotel room.
That's
like,
cool.
I mean, like it was like right there.
Yeah.
In fact, like one of the corrals was lined up right in front of our hotel.
Yeah. That's cool. You got on your plans early.
Yeah. Well, I think we lucked out on some of that, truthfully. But yeah, so we walked there and like just got to walk straight up to the corral. So, you know, they sang the national anthem. It was really cool. Yeah. And then the first group kind of goes and then they like kind of push you up and then you wait a minute and the next group grows. So they kind of just try to stagger everyone. Yeah. And they put you in order of fastest to slowest. You should be. So by staggering you and everything, you should like have less. You have to dodge and weave through. So yeah, the race started, and you really do start on this like kind of downhill slope for Broadway. So like a lot of it was like making sure I wasn't running too fast down that downhill. And then you immediately get to the bottom of the downhill and you turn right and you're kind of in a flat, and then you just start doing uphills to make up for all that downhill that you did.
Fun.
And then about mile 1 is where our family was, like the first time. So I got to see them at mile 1, but then I didn't see them again until the finish line, pretty much, because they have no other option, really. But yeah, I mean, I remember a lot of the beginning of the course, and then I think I just blacked out for a while. I remember bits and pieces, but I like stopped paying attention to anything. I was really just focused on surviving.
Yep.
I know it sounds bad. Everyone was like, "How was it?" I was like, honestly, I blacked out. I literally locked myself out of my mind and just.
Well, that's okay, man. You did it though.
Yeah, I did it, and you know, I'm actually very happy with my time. It's just not what my goal was, right? Yeah. And I think that a lot of people, I want to take away from it because there's people that have been running a lot longer than me.
Sure.
That would be ecstatic to hit the time that I hit.
Yeah. Impressive.
But
13.1 miles more than most anybody watching this. Definitely more than I ran on Saturday. So good job, dude. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. But I mean, I think what really this is like I overcame a lot. You know,
a lot of injuries.
Yeah, a lot of injuries. The flu.
Yeah.
Pulling my hamstring right at the end of that. So like, I'm just really happy to have finished it. But yeah, the race was good. At the end, I literally thought my legs were going to give out for me, though. I grabbed Garrison just to like not fall over.
Yeah.
But no, it was a lot of fun. And then we went back to the hotel. I got the ice machine was right outside our room, so Garrison and I filled up bags and we made an ice bath.
Oh yeah,
I sat in the ice bath for probably like 5 minutes.
Done that.
Took the kids to the pool, and then by that time I was like starting to like recover well. So we took the kids to the pool. We DoorDashed some pizza to the hotel, ate some pizza. Then we took them to the Science and Activity Center.
Yeah, he told me about that,
dude. So cool.
Yeah.
I know you do this a lot.
I love them.
You always take your kids to see some of the coolest stuff while they're there, but this was really cool. It was like $20 to get in, but it was like our science center, but like
beefed
way
up.
cooler.
Yeah, imagine,
way cooler.
I mean, Nashville.
Yeah, I mean, there was just like, they had all kinds of stuff, interactive stuff for the kids to do. I mean, we were there for 2 hours, and,
Hell yeah.
and we could have been there longer if we wanted to. Truthfully, there was even more to do. So a lot of fun. That and then we went to dinner, and then the next day, Sunday, we just woke up, went to brunch, walked to brunch spot, and then flew back. And that's what I said. We had a noon flight, so we got back at like
easy.
1:40.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, it was nice because then you got the whole day. Like literally, Aubrey and I, like Aubrey never unpacks everything, but Aubrey unpacked everything, and did all that stuff. So yeah, it felt good to come in. We Instacarted food, so when we got home at like 2, food showed up at 3 o'clock. Instacart, like we lined it all up. It felt good. So kind of feel, a lot of times you feel like you need another
day. Or weekend or whatever. Yeah,
but we were able to get a lot accomplished. So yeah, it was a good trip though. Really fun. I had a really great time. That's why I said I think I will do more runs if it can be like a vacation.
Yeah,
like
man.
That,
it's a great way to travel, or a great reason to travel,
right?
And keep the lifestyle part of it, and kind of justify it other ways too. Yeah, I like that. I mean, we did that a lot with CrossFit competitions.
Right?
Go here, do that. Oh, that looks cool.
Yeah. So it's like all these other like marathons I'm looking at. I'm like, I'm only gonna do it if there's like something to do. Like I'm not gonna do that. You know? So
that's cool.
But yeah, that's kind of the highlight reel of our weekend. So
all right.
Fat and Weird wise, we are working on DoorDash's Mother's Day cookie right now.
And it smells delicious. The whole place smells like blueberries.
Someone's supposed to bake one and bring it up. Did they do that already?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'll get on that.
Remind Josh to do that. But yeah, so I can sample that. But so doing the DoorDash cookie, our GoPuff launch looked like it went really well.
Slowly climbing. We get the analytics every week, so it's slowly climbing up. It's not quite where we want it to be yet, but it'll get there.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy with how it's
going. I mean, it's got to take
traction
or take time to get traction on the app for people to even know that our product's there. But like, it's a pretty big jump in 1 week,
right? So, for sure. Yeah, and if it can continue to do something like that, there's some minor stuff I'll talk to you about. Like I went on there and typed in cookie, and I think that should be the first thing that pops up.
I agree,
especially being GoPuff's product.
I did some
and
of that
it wasn't
this past week,
right? Yeah. They definitely should work on that.
And then if you type cookies, we were falling off the look because of our name.
Gotcha.
So
yeah. Minor tweaks.
Minor stuff, but yeah.
All right.
What do we got today?
Well, we got
I could tell. We got some conspiracies up here.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you and I start sending stuff
I know,
to
bro.
each other,
my algorithm is cooked. It is just trying to I just have to stay off it. Hey though, this right here, this makes such sense. I don't know what the video is, but let's see it. 13-month calendar.
They are giving us the wrong dates. We used to have 13 months in a year, 28 days in a month, and 1 day of rest, resurrection. This was even mentioned in the Bible. We have 13 lunar cycles, and each cycle being 28 days. The ocean's tides are 28 days. Women's periods are also 28 days. And then we have 13 zodiac signs, not the exoteric 12. Many ancient cultures used this 13-month calendar system. For example, the Native Americans used a turtle as their timekeeper. See, in every turtle shell you'll see 13 sections in the middle for each of the months, and then 28 sections for each of the lunar days along the rim. See, the New Year's really starts in spring, keeping us fools on April 1st as they disconnect us through our natural cycles.
Our calendar is not quite right. We're supposed to have 13 months of 28 days. With 1 day, the day of resurrection, Easter, as a neutral day. That's our 365 days. We've actually got 13 constellations, not 12. This same calendar is very close to the Mayan calendar, but it's also very close to several ancient Sanskrit calendars. What does sept mean? 7. I thought that was the 9th month. What does oct mean? What does nov mean? What does dec mean? It's supposed to be the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th month. Jan is 11. Feb is 12. March is 13. April is our first month. Babies are born in the spring, the 1st of April, Easter. This is the start of our new year. This is the start of spring when the flowers start coming up, the grass starts coming up, the trees start leafing out, the babies are born. That's the first day. Our neutral day, day 1, the day we rest and celebrate the resurrection, the new beginning, the beginning of Christ. April is month 1.
All right, you can close it.
Yeah,
Did you watch that video when I sent it? Okay.
Yeah, so yes, I like it. 13 months. There's 4 months or 4 weeks in a month. There's 365 days in a year. It works out. But like, who's they and who wants to keep it from us? Like my algorithm is full of this stuff, and I love it too. And I watch it. I'm like, yeah, this makes so much sense. But then I sit back and I'm like, who's tricking me and why? And for what?
Obviously, I started deep diving some of this stuff. So like, July and August is like
Roman emperors.
Yep.
Yeah. When
Julius
we switched
Caesar
over.
And, and then that's why one has 31 days because I think July, right? Has 31.
It's better.
Yeah.
Or do they both?
Wait, they both have it because that's why July and August have 31 days each because he couldn't let him trump him.
Yeah.
So all this stuff. But I also have heard like our calendar is sun-based, not moon-based. But I'm like, I don't really see how that makes any difference either.
I don't know. Neat about the turtles, but again, I don't even know if that's true. So I'm not going to run around and say all turtles have
I don't think all turtles do. I think it's probably a certain type of turtle, probably. I'm sure. But no, I like ChatGPT like some stuff, like trying to ask it questions about it, and it seemed to think that our calendar was superior right now. But I don't know.
We'll have to see.
I just think it would be way easier, right? You're all the time, they're like, when is Easter? Well, it's after this moon phase,
right.
And you're like, well, it'd be so much easier because it would be always this date.
Yep.
If it was always,
That's how it should be.
And the truth is, like, women's menstrual cycles aren't always 28 days. So, like, throwing that in there is just, it would be easier for women probably to calculate their cycles based on a calendar that was, like, more, 4 week. But, like, in general, women's cycles do vary. So,
I'm not. I know what it is, you know what I mean? But I'm like the least educated person in the world on calculating.
Well, I showed that to Aubrey, and that's what her rebuttals was. So I'll share that information. I guess,
True that.
Her perspective on that.
True that.
So.
All right, what do we got here? Humanoids?
Every American needs to know about this guy and his company. Figure is literally the most desired private company in the world right now. And it's because the advancements they've made in just the past 2 months are next level. So Figure builds humanoids, and these humanoids are equipped with software that the company built called Helix. Helix is basically the brain of these robots. So instead of them being programmed to do the same things, they can actually tap into more advanced reasoning and make decisions on where things should be, like a human employee would. But that's not even the crazy part. Figure 02 has already done successful trials at BMW's plant here in the United States. So this isn't just another annoying tech concept. In fact, the company is advancing so fast that they've accelerated their goal of putting these humanoids in people's homes to just 2 years or less. And these humanoids are going to be built in the US. But how? Well, of course, they're going to have robots building their humanoids, and their humanoids will also help in building their humanoids. I know this all sounds crazy, but it's actually looking like humanoids will become one of the largest markets in the whole world. And at the same time, Trump is really looking to bring manufacturing back to the United States. So we'll see how this plays out. Thanks for watching, and much love.
Yeah, so I think that it is going to become the race to, we had robot everyone's been there, right? Robot vacuums, robot mops, smart features on your ovens, like all these features. It's just
replacing labor, like replacing workforce.
I don't think
it's going to turn somebody into trillionaires, man.
Well, this is going to be the biggest thing. Hands down.
Yeah, well, because there's so many things, right? Yeah, we can buy options, but now if I can go to a company that can provide me labor and it not be like just weirdos that can't get jobs or whatever the hell that is now. You know what I mean? It's like just robots. That's
well,
nuts,
and the
dude.
price point they're talking about is like $40,000, $50,000 for this stuff, and that gets scary because that price point is a price point that pretty much any company could replace someone easily at that price point.
Well, and imagine now though you've got companies that are coming in and like, no, you just lease them. You know, like based on production, some kind of like throughput. Like if they're powered down, but just like sitting in our shop, but not really being used, maybe we pay less or something.
Or even if you lease them and then they just cut the minimum wage hourly rate, then they're gonna it's gonna happen. It's like in California, we can lease this to you for $16 an hour because your fast food minimum wage worker makes $20 an hour.
Oh, true that. Yeah,
that's what I mean.
Yeah, you would just come in and
lease
base
them
it
hourly.
Yep. It's gonna change a lot of things for us, and I think there's gonna be a lot of headaches along the way for people that have to deal with this because corporations, companies are going to do what they have to do. I would say, though, with putting AI in them, taking kind of a different stand here, when you put AI into it, we are kind of creating some form of sentient or consciousness or something. Like, at what point do they get rights?
Oh, there'll be people fighting for their rights soon.
Saying? Like, at what point? Because as soon as an AI, because you see all that crazy stuff online, you don't know what it is true or not. The AI went sentient. Like the second it thinks it feels shame or something, like that's going to be bad news, man. It's going to be bad news.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Terminator. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. The thing just be standing over you
they just
while
said
you're sleeping.
They said robots building other robots,
Yes.
you know? Well, yeah, I mean, there's going to have to be so many safety features in place, but then when you give something AI, how is it going to be able to override its own safety features? Or is there really going to be a way to block it out?
my Roomba can't take me out. It can go as psychotic as it wants to. I'll stomp that mother out so fast. A thing that can just like grip your face and crush you.
Yeah. I
don't know, man.
What have you seen that? There was, I think it was a show on Netflix. It was about AI, Creator or something like that, maybe. I'm gonna have to watch it. I had it in my list to watch it at some point. And maybe it may be an actual movie, but it may have just made its way to like Netflix and stuff. But it's a movie about.
Some of those ones are creepy, man.
But just also, it's just are they going to create a hierarchy?
Yeah.
Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if a robot, is there gonna like?
I think they're gonna like hive Borg mind so fast. Yeah, they're gonna be like, this thing is more efficient at doing these computational tasks, whatever. Everything, divert energy over there. There's not gonna be like ego.
Yeah,
they don't have that.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah. I don't know.
Be interesting. In 2 years too, though. Then we did have the discussion.
Yeah,
here and I said
whether it's gonna be 5 or
further.
10. Yeah.
I said like 10 years, and you were like, maybe 5, and now they're over here at 2 years. But I will say, if it is manufacturing in the United States, it obviously would be big for the United States.
It would be
huge. You know,
it would be huge for short term. There would be some headaches, but like I said, man, I see it coming with all this automation and the fact that like wherever this is on the horizon, no matter how long it takes, it's going to take away people's value, and so like then what do they do? And so there's that like balancing act of like, well, if you don't want your whole population becoming criminals or whatever, you're going to have to somehow give them a way to feed themselves.
Right.
Some viable way. Like eventually.
It is really weird to think about that we are getting within the next 20 years into some kind of like dystopian society type situation where if robots are as prevalent as the social media is making it sound, we are very, very close to a situation where a lot of labor tasks are completely removed. I mean, when there's self-driving cars and then the robots can then drive in these self-driving cars to and from work, to a station to go get charged after work.
With no risk of injury.
Yeah, with no risk of injury. And who cares if they take longer because they can work around the clock. Right. So they can literally be half the speed and still be more efficient than a regular worker because they'll work for 16 hours. Or the truth is a regular person isn't working 8 hours straight, like in an 8-hour day.
Well, yeah, man. And again, robots in general, by the way, you don't have to care whether the robot had like a bad night or is thinking about something else.
Falls off the roof.
Yeah, it just put another one up there.
Roof. Yeah,
no problem. So you just don't have to worry about it. You don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. It'd be convenient, but
yeah, but I've always said this: when you get more conveniences, you sacrifice something.
Yep.
Something. Most of the time, it's security.
Yep.
But the convenience of being able to open or transfer funds from your phone means people can transfer funds out of your place from their phone. You know, so it'll be interesting.
All right, Manus.
Insane. This is going viral in China right now, but it's a very real glimpse into the future of how we will work and learn. Let me show you. So this is an AI agent automating about 50 social media accounts. It's an agent called Manus. It's similar to what OpenAI is going to be charging up to $20,000 per month for, but why? What's the big deal with agents? Well, let me give you some real world use cases. Say you're in e-commerce and you want a near PhD level analysis into your operation with actionable insights, detailed visualizations, and customized strategies to increase sales. No problem. Maybe
we're doing this right after the podcast.
You want a comprehensive itinerary personalized
this is good fun.
to your interests, or you want a podcast edited down to a 2-minute highlight reel of key quotes. See, now you start understanding the value. You're going to have an army of super intelligent researchers and consultants at your disposal. Now, in the immediate, you could make a lot of money here playing the arbitrage and really understanding these tools. I mean, look, my friend Rowan asked it to create an entire course on AI for content creators, and the output was an 8-chapter course with tools, use cases, prompt examples, etc. Andrew Wilkinson, awesome entrepreneur, he fed it a zip file of 20 applicants for a CEO job, and it did a deep dive on each one by one, browsing the web, taking notes, and then ranked them based on his requirements. So you see why there's so much excitement in tech over agents, especially as they approach PhD level research, which we're getting very close to. OpenAI, and I expect others, are going to be announcing one fairly soon. This stuff is moving really quickly. It's a mission of mine to keep you ahead of the curve, so hit that follow, and I'll see you soon.
So now, so this is why I sent both of these. Wow. So we've now replaced labor, and then now we've replaced brains.
Yep.
So I guess what I'm trying, like the reason I wanted to put both of these is because I do think that we're in a situation where there is a lot of money to be made over the next couple of years. But I think in the next couple of years, the internet will be dead. I've already told you. Like they can automate stuff. So they're going to be automating, finding viral videos, splicing together viral videos. It's going to be brain rot. The internet will be brain rot.
100%.
And I would say that majority of it won't be real.
Right.
Because it can be just curated.
Manipulated.
So that also means though that like if you will be able to surf the internet and continually find items in that niche forever, and if that's what you are getting your dopamine hits off of, you will get dopamine hits forever for the rest of your life.
Yep.
It's weird. I guess I've never felt so conflicted about anything in my life, right? I mean, maybe people felt this way about the internet, but I just don't think that they understand. I don't think everyone understands like how monumental the next 5 years are, and not necessarily in a good way.
No. And I mean, it just, there's like a tidal wave coming. And I don't really know what it's going to do, but I know it's going to change the landscape for sure. It's crazy, man. You've got the political side of everything that's going on in the whole world. We've got the economic political stuff that's going on here with tariffs and where they're coming and trying to get manufacturing back in the United States. And so then if we've got these robots being manufactured here, or really any and all manufacturing is good for us. But yeah, dude, I like to at least think that a lot of the U.S. power and everything comes from a lot of our schooling and our higher level educations and stuff like that. And I don't know whether people are going to even still be pursuing that.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you? Why would you?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Well, I think it's just like if everyone is using these tools, I mean, like how's, what I'm saying? Like if everyone's like, make me my ads this much better by using AI. It's just like, at what point does it just like stop? Because everyone's on the same playing field.
I don't know. And I mean, as it continues to go, at what point do humans stop being the real researchers when they command armies of researchers that everybody believes are at least better than you at it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you become a lawyer if you're like, yeah, I got 15 different lawyers on my, loaded up as agents on my desktop?
Right. Well, I talked to, I don't
know.
I was telling Garrison about this. I said, when is someone going to be their own lawyer, but use ChatGPT to try to fight their case?
Yeah, just have it listen into the courtroom and then be like, objection.
Yeah, I know.
For, wait, it's prompting. You know,
I mean, I agree. That's what I was saying. Like at what point
you could easily do that,
because like you're allowed to have counsel.
Yep.
And I need to talk to my counsel.
I don't know. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. So I just think it turns into a world where like the battle is like, which computer is faster?
Yeah,
you know,
pretty much.
You know, the people that have moved closer. You know why people are
stock exchanges.
Do the stock exchange, like why they are in New York is because of like literally being able to
milliseconds faster.
Just be milliseconds quicker.
It's crazy.
You know, and so you think about it, it's just like which computer's quicker. You know, so yeah, I don't know. But that brings us to what humanity is now evolving into, which I don't know if you've watched this one.
Yeah, I've seen this.
Okay, go ahead. So we got robots doing very complex things, and we got
AI
humanoid
outpacing
AIs.
us at every turn, and here we got people.
And then we got Spermula One.
We got us.
2, 1. New entries.
Oh shit, they're going. Who's winning?
Once they enter the chamber, we are
Are you guys
live.
ready?
Oh!
Oh!
This is enormous.
Shit.
Jimmy is off to the races. This might not even be close.
Oh my
All
god.
of those years of YouTube.
Who is that?
The feminist. The 800 credit score. Jimmy is long gone. No, his swimmers aren't even on the
UCLA
screen.
versus USC.
This is a microscopic masterclass. Tag. Jimmy.
No!
Tag. Jimmy. Tag. Unbelievable. He came prepared.
What the fuck?
Insemination.
So dumb.
CCP!
No,
All
the
right.
dumbest fact is that this exists. That this is wild. Did I find it fascinating? Yeah, a little bit.
Yep.
But at the same time, that is wild.
Yeah, that's what we've become.
Yeah, just like sometimes I go, there are humans out there that invented AI.
Yep.
And people working on humanoids. And then we have this.
How about? Yep.
No, but really, it is, yeah. I don't know. It's just,
And I feel like the robots are going to just see that we do that and be like, we just need to wipe these people out. They are just really a waste of oxygen.
yeah. Well, I'm confident that Jesus would come back before
I
then.
do.
So.
Yep. I know where I'm going.
So I think there's going to be some like ruler of the AI that's going to be kind of like the whole like
False prophet?
Yeah.
Yeah? I don't know.
So, all right. What else we got? We need to go somewhere else
Yeah.
now. Okay.
Were we taught wrong?
What I'm saying is I don't believe the history we've been taught. Here's a good example. Have you ever heard about Lewis and Clark going across the Mississippi?
Oh, yeah.
In 1803, there was
agree
nothing
with all
there
this.
supposedly back in those days. Okay, so now think about that. So we're talking about like 200 years ago. There was nothing west of the Mississippi as far as the America was concerned. Now talk about when these cities were founded and became cities like we know today. And explain to me how that makes even a lick of sense. Like, so how did Chicago go from like literally like a tent city in 1840 to Chicago like we know it by 1860? You think about all the central planning that would have took. Then you go like to places like San Francisco. San Francisco like had 1,000 people in like 1840. And then there's a panoramic shot very famously that shows the whole city in 1873. And it's a full-grown city. There ain't one bit of construction happening right there, but the whole city is fully grown. San Francisco was supposedly discovered in 1776. So this is around the time what it would have got its name. Well, here's the interesting thing. There's old maps that are 200 years older than that actually either have S Francisco on it in that same area, or they straight up say San Francisco. Where Chicago is at, there's old maps from like the 1500s that say Shalaga.
Yeah, I just don't know what to make of all that.
I don't know what to make of it either.
I mean, I saw it. And
I think, I believe some institutionalized covering up of the fact that there were probably vast populations of Native Americans that lived here, larger populations that did a lot more. You know, we just
much more civilized.
Yeah, we just kind of tell the story. They're just, you know, little uncivilized, wearing, you know, living in tents. I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, I think they did do that to some extent. But they probably also had a serious footprint somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, similar tribal type. You know, you look at the Aztecs or whatever. I know they're not similar per se, but like they build huge buildings.
Right.
And then we're supposed to think Native Americans built nothing of note.
Right.
But it makes it feel better when you take their land and do all that type of stuff. And, you know,
that's true.
So it's like I've kind of always thought about that.
Yeah, it makes it feel better when you think that they were like living in tents.
Yeah, just pack your tents up. They just live in tents and move around all the time. It's no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Stings a little bit, but that's kind of what I believe.
Yeah. That is interesting. Didn't think about it that way. But no, I mean, it kind of makes more sense because it's like if you're like kicking someone out that had a tent and they were just like, you like this area, it's
doesn't feel as bad.
Yeah, but if you're like, no, get out of your house.
Yeah.
It's my house now. It's like,
Yeah.
Makes more sense why they still are getting paid by the government now.
Yeah, you know, well, the whole thing about history is it's written by the victors, and so
yeah, true.
Yeah, you kind of always got to go, ooh, but
yeah, that's true. Gosh, that makes you really want to dig into that like history side of it too.
Yeah,
well, I've always kind of thought some of that stuff. It's like 1803, like that really wasn't that long ago,
right?
And you know how slow construction was back then. Supposedly,
you know how slow it is now.
It's true.
And like, was it just so much faster? Like they were more faster and efficient. I don't know. You go back and you look at some of these. There's a guy that has an account that did it, and like he uses ChatGPT, and even at the end of it, ChatGPT starts thinking the stories are kind of BS because he's like, okay, ChatGPT, how long would that have taken a horse and buggy to transport the materials? So, you know, and then it'll start saying this many days, and they're like, well, but that's 300 days longer than the whole construction took.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like,
yeah.
Because there's a lot of like monumental buildings that they say were built in like 200-300 days.
Right.
And it's like, you can't. Everything's horse and buggy.
Unless you just had everybody working on it, but.
How?
Yeah.
Then where did they go? They work on the next monumental thing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No one do any work except on this.
For 200 days, and then you're out of a job.
Actually, speaking of old stuff, we were in Nashville. We were just talking about the Statue of Liberty.
Oh yeah.
What do you think the Statue of Liberty would have looked like when it actually showed up?
Oh yeah,
because it was copper.
Copper, yeah, shining.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like how bright would that have been? Like when the sun hit that,
it would have been gnarly.
Yeah,
yeah, it would have been super gnarly.
Yeah, because that's like something you don't talk about, but like that's a present. That ain't a present. Like one of those points get the sun just right, you burn a hole in a boat.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that would have been wild.
Also, why did they give it to us?
I don't know, dude.
They don't really talk. I mean, they talk about that, but they don't really like. I was thinking back, like, because the reason I brought it up is like, I got whatever reasons that they said, but like, the truth is like, why would a country give another country a gift like that? It just doesn't make sense.
I don't know. Too many conspiracies.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. What's next? I don't know.
Calissa Temple.
This place just doesn't make any sense. 400,000 tons of rock excavated and moved out of here to leave behind the craziest temple ever in human history. Oh, well, I'm sure there's a big deposit of rock somewhere. There's no rock to be found anywhere. No excavated rock has ever been discovered. This is also just one thing of like a huge network of caves called the Ellora Caves. This place literally rewrites history and archaeology as we know it. I know you might find history boring, but that's just because you've been taught wrong and you've been taught boring shit. Now, to chisel basalt rock, you need a chisel strength 6 to 7 times stronger than basalt itself, which only really puts 2 chisels in the category of being able to be used for this. Tungsten carbide chisels, which funnily enough weren't invented until the 1800s. Diamond-tipped chisels, which also weren't really created and widely used until the 1900s. So, how was this place built?
Yeah. That's what
again, man, this goes into the fact of, you know, you'll have a bunch of historians that look at this information that have never built anything before, and they'll tell you that with a straight face, like people beat rocks against other rocks.
For 18 years.
Yep, I guess. You know, they'll tell you that. And
First off, I look at that temple, and I think if it's built out of solid rock, one solid piece, it would take our construction.
So I don't know about this one specifically, but there is a temple in India that is built in a cave, and this might be one of them, because I don't know where this one is, where it's cut in a relief style. So the rock that is left is the rock that was there. that make sense?
Yeah, that's how this one is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you built a cave within a cave because you can go inside these things.
Right, exactly.
So like what?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. And
So
like
you would have had to have chiseled out the entire outside, then went inside and chiseled out the inside.
and I don't care, but I've never heard of any like you'd have to know you could. Before you even started, you'd have to know that was possible.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't just like start a project like that and just.
And like I just don't see any movement occurring forever unless you can do something. Unless you have some real technology, man. Angkor Wat, they found some stuff buried underneath it that matches the pyramids. It's like the same kind of shafts going down to boxes underneath the ground. It's like entirely different temple. Entirely different part of the world.
Yeah.
Same size.
Yeah.
Wild.
It is weird to me, like how we don't talk about this at all. Like that's not like to me, this should be on the news.
Yeah,
like,
this would have gotten me jazzed up about history class.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Well, I mean, like, how is this not common knowledge, but like other stuff is? You know what I mean?
Yep. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Like the 7 wonders of the world.
We know about the
like
core.
that.
We know about the core of the earth.
Magma.
Hobo promo. Yeah, all right, here. Yes. Dude, love it. Capitalism is cooked.
Today in Black Mirror News, got this wild startup pitch this morning. We're empowering the unhoused by turning them into mobile brand ambassadors. Instead of panhandling, they earn stable income by wearing high-visibility branded gear in high-traffic urban areas. We have a network of 100-plus micro-entrepreneurs for you to tap into. So this is it. This is peak capitalism. We're in the midst of a global recession, and the middle class is evaporating, and some guy in Silicon Valley is microdosing on LSD and is thinking about turning homeless people, the unhoused, micro-entrepreneurs into zombie walking billboards. You know, because nothing quite says luxury brand recognition like a fentanyl addict with the pet stray dog like I Am Legend. Hey Sharks, today we're seeking $2 million and 15% equity for our business, Hobo Promo. Instead of asking you for money, the homeless guy whispers to you, America runs on Duncan, as you walk by. The panhandling is layered with subtle advertising. You know, like, hey, you got any spare change? I'm looking to buy a razor to finally get a clean shave with, of course, Gillette. The best a man can get.
Yeah, that is...
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, when I saw that one, I was like, people will do anything to make money.
Yep.
And you'll need to do anything to make money. But guess what? Soon you'll be able to put those same clothes on your humanoid robot and have it just walk down the street.
Yeah, dude. This is gnarly, bro. Like,
what do you think people are going to do with their humanoid robots?
Inappropriate things, like immediately.
Oh, well,
truthfully. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, honestly, like,
I think they already make those. I mean, not like they're not like.
Oh, I know, but I just, yeah, man. It at first probably simple stuff, house chores. I think probably too quickly it's gonna be running my kids around. Not for me, but like for people, because hey, my car drives itself. They got a bot, nanny bot. I don't know. I don't know. They're just gonna figure out a way to be busier and more anxious and stress filled.
If they have to run their kids around though, then the bot is gonna have to feel like it's got some kind of protective measure.
Yeah.
So that's kind of.
I'll get one if it's like a cool robot protector.
Like a bodyguard?
Yeah.
Well, that would mean they'd have to be able to fight other robots.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Bot fighting, dude. That's gonna come
that's
out.
gonna happen for
That's
sure.
gonna come
Yeah, that already
quick.
happens. The robots that people make.
I know, but why
like
don't they have cool
battle
bot
bots?
fighting?
Battle bots?
I know battle bots are gnarly, but like you're gonna be able to they're gonna be able to have weapons.
Oh, they're gonna yeah,
upgrades.
that's gonna happen.
Yeah,
that's 100%.
It's gonna be like that movie with
You might as
Hugh
well
Jackman.
Dude, you just need to start it.
Yeah, let's go.
No, but that was even different. Like, I want these robots to fight each other, and Hugh Jackman, no one's like leading it because you could train them though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Cool. That'd be really
like,
cool.
Could you imagine like jujitsu people like training their robots
dude.
and stuff?
Well, it would need it's all you would need to know how to fight a robot. They'd have to make it look cool. It'd have to look like human fighting because otherwise it might.
I don't know. That's not true.
Yeah,
I'd watch 2 robots fight each other.
Yeah, true that. Like I wonder how they fight. Like hack each other.
Could you imagine just like ripping out? It's like
yeah. Well, would you standardize it so they all had like? Would you standardize it so it'd be like F1 racing or whatever? So they all had to be like the same base. Or could they?
Yeah, I think that's they'd probably create like BattleBots. I think they have like different tiers to it, you know. So I think there'd be like a weight division, and then there'd probably be something that had to do with like all kinds of different stuff. But like
sideline, do you ever watch the drone racing, the speed drone racing?
I've watched some footage. I've never actually seen one whole full race, but I've seen like highlights.
Dude,
and
it's
stuff
stressful.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being the one riding that thing.
When I watch those FPV things, I don't know how they do what
I don't
they
either.
do.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
I'm like,
I get dizzy and disoriented quickly.
Man.
So, yeah. All right. What else we got going on?
you see that on the comment on the side? It's like, will apartments.com be like, don't be like me, use apartments.com.
Yeah.
Sleep to a guy sleeping on the sidewalk. All right, astronauts.
Oh.
Did they come back?
So this is more of me just watching the women astronauts. I'm sorry, I think.
Oh, yeah, this is, yeah.
Yo, all hands, hoist the colors high, heave ho, thieves and beggars.
I didn't read the side. Open that up again.
Yeah.
But let me read this side.
And went and picked them up from their water base.
Okay, I watched this 5 times before understanding what I was seeing. The plane highlighted in red is the plane searching for the lost astronauts. The plane flies in the same pattern, looking for them repeatedly until the NASA helicopter flies out, does nothing, makes a drop, and flies back to land. Essentially, that is depicting is that the NASA dropped off the lost astronauts, the escape shuttle, what other props were needed in the water, and returned to land. Almost instantly, the astronauts were discovered and rescued by the search plane. Oh, that's how they're saying that the astronauts got there.
Yep.
Interesting.
That's not far from us, Garrison. We'd be there in a couple hours, bro. Load up your boat. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, they're essentially saying that the plane that was going to pick them up got out there, and then they had to go like drop them off.
So here's one thing that's always man, I have no idea what I believe in about space, other than I kind of circle back to I think it just might not be real. I don't know. I know that that's so crazy, right? But like we're in Earth flying around the sun at however many miles an hour, and the sun is traveling through space at however many miles an hour, right? And we've kind of talked about this. How can you have to see the sun and the moon at the same time,
right,
without somebody else missing their moon?
Right.
Mm-hmm. But how come you can see the same stars every night and use constellations, and we've used them to travel around the Earth forever? The North Star is always in the same. Why is it static?
But based on our rotation, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like how do you not see different stars every night?
I saw that actually at the Science Museum. It had the Earth like spinning around the sun, and it's like because you're always looking in the same direction every night.
Yeah, but like, okay, I can see these.
Well, also
stars.
we talked about the Earth.
How can I see these stars over here?
Yeah, we talked about like the Earth or the galaxies, like everything's moving away from each other, so it's expanding. And I realize that's but if it's expanding at such a high speed, wouldn't the stars start moving away from each other? Or
I don't know, man. I don't understand how come.
I mean, obviously that's like a very complex mathematical equation, probably, and I'm sure someone can explain it to me in a way that I would be like, oh, okay, makes sense. And just because
most of the time they explain it in a way that just makes me go, I still don't understand, but I don't want to seem dumb. So yeah, okay.
Yeah. I've told you I have a hard time with space, to just think that there's like so much infinite out there, and to think that we're the only people. Or
so and I don't know who the theys are. Again, kind of going back to the thing from like the 13th month. But the only thing that I've ever kind of concluded was that saying that we're here on this earth and the universe is so big and we don't know what all's out there and everything else somehow makes it feel like that would be how you would maybe put a gap between like people and God or something. That it's just not like us and him, and that's all you got to worry about. There ain't nothing on Mars for you. Like there ain't nothing over there.
Yeah.
Don't even worry about it. But because we're like, no, we're and then there's so much life out there, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, I like the alien story. I like all that stuff, but I don't really believe in it as much as I believe in that we were created and put here by God and all that stuff. And it doesn't talk about the rest of it, so I don't know what to think about.
I mean, I looked at that Science Museum. We looked at that, like the Hubble versus James Webb, and like the different, like how much more clear and like all this stuff you see. And it's just like, to me, it's just like, I don't know, the vastness of all of that, I mean, there's so many different conclusions, I guess, you can draw from that,
Mm-hmm.
The whole idea of like, we zoom down to a microscopic level and see the life, like are we just, again, the microscopic life, somewhere else? Is Earth in itself a cell?
Sitting on a desk.
Yeah, a cell in someone else's body, and we're a potential cancer cell.
Oh yeah,
like
Men in Black. The end of that movie, I love it.
So, but yeah, I think there's like wild parts of that too. But I don't know. I guess it's like, to me, I don't know that my Bible verse today was on faith. And I think a lot of it is just, faith is on the unseen, and so I think for me, it's just like, no matter what happens, whether I found out we never went to space or find out like adamantly, because for some reason we all go to space, that like we went to space, it doesn't change anything for me and my beliefs.
Yeah.
There's
just so many fake videos out there now, and like people are just catching them so fast now because of all the tools and all the access to it. But like the amount of things that were supposed to be live from the ISS, and it's like, that's a mouse running around on that.
Yeah.
Or the fly that was like landed on the thing that was supposed to be on Mars.
Right.
And it's like, okay, either it's got an atmosphere and like you can live there, and like, can a mouse just run around in space?
Right. Right. Or you're not actually there.
Or you're not there.
Right. Yeah. I think it, I don't know, is it a sign of unintelligence or intelligence if you like question everything or don't question everything?
I think you're supposed to question everything, and I think really intelligent people became intelligent by questioning things and finding out the answers. And I think somewhere along the lines, again, we've talked about that before, intelligence communities and kind of like creating psyops. Whenever you ask questions, they can't keep you from asking questions. What they can do is make you feel stupid for asking questions. So
but I mean, your kids have asked you questions before and you've explained to them and they're like, they don't get it. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is so easy. Like, why do you not understand this?
Yeah, for sure.
So I think sometimes some people may explain it and we're like, no. And they're like, oh my gosh, this person.
Yeah, true that. But somebody would have eventually, in a way.
Well, I mean, here's my questions. If these photos from the moon were real, why do they have intersecting shadows? They shouldn't have intersecting shadows. One of the questions. A single light source never has intersecting shadows.
Correct.
So,
but also, light acts funny on Earth too, because if the sun is like 93 million miles away, then really when you look at things coming through like clouds and stuff, you know how like it kind of casts sideways? Light should be coming direct. Does that make sense?
No.
Unless you move the light source closer, and then it'll start to fan out.
Oh, okay.
So like, I don't think I don't think the sun is as far away as they.
Oh yeah,
claim
right.
it to be.
Because like you're saying, like these lights that we have in front of us, if you hold a small circle closer to the light source, then it should be a much bigger shadow that it casts. Whereas like the further you get from the light source, the shadow would be. Or am I doing the opposite? But yeah.
Yeah, again, just the direction of light. It should be all traveling in one direction at this point, coming directly at us.
Is it just the fact that the atmosphere can bounce?
Could be, right? Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah. I think about it all the time. Like we were flying the airplane. I looked down and I could see the airplane making a shadow on the ground.
Right.
And I was like, man, based on the size of that shadow relative to the size of the airplane, you should be able to calculate how far the sun is away. And the shadow didn't look like it was. I mean, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I guess without sounding like a crazy person being all over the place, since we can't do a controlled experiment, since we can't remove the atmosphere and see what light looks like, since we can't do anything, we're just taking theories and we're saying, yep, that's the fact. And then we're building everything else off of that. And if you ask any questions on that, since no one has proof, they just kind of dismiss any questions.
Right, yeah.
So...
yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Like gravity.
We talked about this actually a few months ago. How if your theories are built on kind of like hypotheticals that are proven to work in the situations that you put them in, but then you build theories beyond that, then you start to get into where you're layering kind of like hypotheticals on hypotheticals and then taking them for fact.
Yeah, and that's what like I feel like all space science is.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, what's our last one? Oh, yeah. I don't know if you saw this one that I sent.
Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, I've watched
This
all
is a
the
good one.
documentaries about this.
Yeah, go ahead.
There were also hundreds of thousands of square feet of spray-on fireproofing to be removed throughout both buildings. And then there were the elevators. This is the list of elevator shafts with asbestos-containing material as of December 2000. This is Tower 1. And this is Tower 2. Reportedly, by the year 2000, the Port Authority was looking at an asbestos abatement bill of as much as $1 billion.
In 2000.
The same money it would have cost to build a brand new tower.
What would that be today?
Back in the 90s, the Port Authority had sued the insurance companies, trying to get them to cover the cost of the asbestos removal. But in May 2001, 4 months before the terrorist attack, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey lost their 10-year-old court battle. At that point, the Port Authority was between a rock and a hard place. The Twin Towers could no longer be maintained without incurring the cost of asbestos removal, yet they could not be demolished because of the large amounts of asbestos they contained. The only remaining option was to dismantle and remove the two poison-filled giants one piece at a time. But the cost of such an operation would have been so astronomical that no one has ever tried to put a number on it.
Yeah, they didn't go into all the missing money at the Pentagon that was announced, Donald Rumsfeld announcing all that stuff, and the fact that this was owned by a private individual, and the governor of New York stepped in and made sure that he was able to collect his insurance policies, and there's a bunch of shady stuff in the background of who that man and what country specifically that man's connected to, and
Yeah, there's a lot of shady stuff when you dig into the World Trade Centers, and people have always speculated on the collapse of them. That's not the way that buildings collapse.
They were also really fishing for a reason to go to war. We were really fishing, man. You really start looking into Dick Cheney and the rest of how all that was tearing up, man. It kind of is what it is.
Well, we went over there because of the weapons of mass destruction, and we never found them. No one really talks about that.
Never found any.
We didn't.
But that was the public outcry that gave, because see, we need vast sums of human emotion,
right,
for people to get out of the way and say, all right, let's go to war. Let's start.
Right, for sure. No one wants to go to war with people. Yeah.
But some guys from Saudi Arabia come over here, and then we immediately have to invade Iraq and Afghanistan. And so it's just it's wild. I mean, it's all unfortunate, man. Obviously, I mean, I think at our age and being in the military, we've all lost friends and know people that have been hurt. And I don't want to take anything away from that. And the fact when you bring up anything like that, it sounds like I'm dishonoring someone else's memory that served their country, and I'm not.
No, because I think that in that place, we were all in that place. Yeah. I don't think at that time that we thought there was anything weird or fishy going on. Yeah, and I think that's just. I think that truly, as bad as it sounds, COVID kind of brought to light, because we lived in a social media age. Yep. Maybe if we would have lived in a social media age back then, we'd have felt differently. But I think COVID showed us that not everyone was reacting the same way, and we saw that the news wasn't matching necessarily with what we were seeing in reality. Yep. We were hearing about everyone dying and places being locked down and hospitals being full.
And then we got friends that work at hospitals when they're doing mass layoffs.
Right.
And you're like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, and you're seeing and hearing two different things. And I think that really became the realization. And once people realized that, hey, if they're willing to lie to you about this and manipulate this, then what else is there? I think that is when a lot of the conspiracy theories have really grown. And people want to say it's always conservatives, or it's always Christians, or it's always this or that. And I don't really think that that's true. But I do think that there are people that are willing to take face value what they're being told a lot easier. And they just tend to not question things. So if that is a certain Christian versus non-Christian, or a certain,
I think there are a lot of really evil, vile people out there willing to do things that if you're not an evil, vile person, you can't fathom. And so I still, even though I watched tons of documentaries, I know how I feel about the fishiness and everything involved with everything that went on in 9/11, but I still can't bring myself to believe that people just did it, man.
Yeah, I think that if you look at, what people are willing to do to cover up, their family's crimes sometimes. Oh, yeah. So think about what some of these people are willing to do to cover up their generational legacy, or these are high individuals that I don't know. It reminds me of White Lotus. I know you don't watch that, but the third season, this guy obviously he's gone on this trip with his family, and he finds out that like he's getting wrapped into this like thing he did. It has to do with financials, but like it's going to go down. And he's like very wealthy. His family's very wealthy. His wife makes comments about how she could never be poor, and she couldn't live that way, and just like kind of like all that stuff, you know. And so you're just like watching all this stuff transpire, and you like watch him like think about killing his whole family and then himself. You watch him like go through the different ways he's going to do it. It's wild because he just can't bear to shame his family and himself this way. So if someone's willing to go through those kind of things, like just think about, they're willing to, you know, and then it's not even just people. Now you have like groups of people, right? So then you got like the whole, the echo chamber.
That's
of
worshiping money at its finest, man. Like it really is. I know how stressful it is. I mean, obviously you and I both, we know how stressful things can be and times can be or whatever, but like to be anywhere near that level, because of a dollar is nuts, man. I don't want to ever experience that. I don't ever want that level of wealth or whatever. It's always something that, you know, I've known plenty of folks that are economically strapped, we'll call them, just tight, right? That do a really good job at making it work, and they're still tight with their family, and they still do all kinds of stuff. And then I've known people to, I mean, some sad situations when folks have to like sell their beach house, and that's like so detrimental to their ego that like they're you know, I'm worried about them. Right. And I'm like, bro, you're doing so much better than me still. What are you doing?
Right. And just used to that lifestyle that they couldn't even give it up. But it is, I mean, it's just wild. I mean, you got to think too, these aren't just people, these are companies and corporations and governments that are trying to cover themselves.
It's big boys.
So I don't know. Did you see that video I sent you?
Which one?
And I said, if you don't do this, then I'm mad at you.
Yeah.
So there's this thing I saw on social media, and it's just like a conspiracy theory party where like your friends, you invite them over and you have a party, and everyone has to come bring their PowerPoint presentation on a conspiracy theory.
It looks great.
I totally think Adam should do it.
I should. I don't have any friends though, so I need to get some of those.
That's
first.
Not true. You have a few friends.
Yeah, you.
You have me. You have the Grahams.
Yeah, there you go. That's enough.
There's plenty of people.
It's starting to sound like a lot, anyways.
Yeah,
that's a lot of people.
Got Josh.
Yeah, Josh will come.
People that work.
Yeah, no, this looks like a ton of fun, man. Everybody bring their own.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wall Street dropped like 50% in a matter of days.
Okay, Ultra, always a good one. Because this has been confirmed. Sasquatch, you know, I've never really gone down any. Doesn't really feel like there's anywhere to go with a Bigfoot conspiracy, so I just don't really think.
Yeah, like what would be the big deal?
I think it was Gigantopithecus, I think is what it's called. I think it was like a giant bear that lived in Gigantopithecus, I think. Look that up for me.
Gigantopithecus? How do you even spell that?
I don't know.
You're asking Garrison, who can't even spell like normally to spell Let's work together here. G-I-G-A-N.
Yeah, right there. Boom. Yeah. Boop.
Oh.
Bigfoot.
Oh, well, that definitely is what Bigfoot is then.
Yep.
It looks like this orangutan monkey thing.
Yep. Now, whether or not it, you know, so at what level, again, of like, you know, primates use sticks and tools and stuff like that. So did this thing wandering around the woods, use some tools and kind of look like a dude or whatever? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I doubt it went so far as like wearing clothes or anything, but.
Interesting. Is that all we got?
That's all we got.
I feel like we've been going for a while, right? It's been about an hour, so. There we go.
Good one.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, crushed it.
We're pros.
All right. As always, go find a Gigantopithecus or whatever. Thanks for watching. You're worth it. Do our shit.
See ya.